and Japan. This play has been written by him about 6 years back at an exciting young age of 86 years. Yes, you guessed it right. He is 92 years young now. Like everyone else, he too enjoyed the Mahabharata, but could not accept it as a gospel. As John Milton says, peace hath her victories no less renowned than war. The thought that God himself should choose war to cleanse the earth of sins and justify use of unfair means to win that war was revolting to Mr. Sharad Shah. In this play, he explores an alternate mythology that could have been one of the possibilities. So here I am, your Sarathi or charioteer, who will make you travel through time immemorial. So my dear respected audience, tighten your seat belts as the time machine rewinds. And yes, laughter and applause do not have COVID protocols. So please feel free to laugh or appreciate if you want. Thank you. More than 5,000 years ago, the Indian continent was divided into states, each ruled by a prince. Most important of these was Hastinapur, ruled by the Kuru dynasty. The last ruler of Hastinapur was Vichitravirya, who died without a progeny. After his death, his 3 wives gave birth to Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidur, following the Nayok tradition. Dhritarashtra was blind, Pandu was frail, and Vidur belonged to the lower caste. Thus, though Dhritarashtra was crowned the king, the administration was in the hands of Vidur. Dhritarashtra had 100 sons, the eldest being Duryodhana. He also had a daughter named Dushala. Pandu had 5 sons, the eldest being Yudhishthir. His wife Kunti also gave birth to a love child before her marriage to Pandu. This child was handed over to Bhishma Pitama, the family patriarch, who in turn handed the child over to his charioteer, Adirath. This is the story of that dynastic struggle for the throne of Hastinapur. The 2 collateral branches of the family that participate in the struggle are the Kauravas and the Pandavas. The Kauravas, led by Duryodhana, with their uncle Shakuni as their strategist, and the Pandavas, guided by Yudhishthir, with Sri Krishna as their strategist. The story unfolds on the night that Kunti's love child, Karna, is born. Bhishma Pitama has taken the infant's custody and summons his charioteer, Adirath.
Maharaj, is everything all right? I was worried. You have never summoned me in this hour.
It was necessary, Adirath. Now listen very carefully. What I am going to tell you must remain a secret between the 2 of us. You understand?
I do, Maharaj.
I'm handing over a newborn child to you. You will take the child home and tell your wife Radha that you found the infant in the horse's stable. Both of you will raise him as your own son. And Adirath, you will be responsible to me for this child. Remember, I, Bhishma Pitama, is the guardian of this child. And any harm to him will be a wound on me. Now, can I rely completely on you, Adirath?
Of course, Maharaj. I know nothing except I found a child in the stable.
Thank you, Adirath. I knew I could always rely upon you. Now come inside and take your foster son home.
Not long after Kunti was married to Pandu, she gave birth to 3 children, all boys, Yudhishthir, Bhim and Arjun. Pandu also had another wife, Madari. She had 2 sons, Nakul and Sahadev. Her sister-in-law Gandhari had 100 sons and a rather strong-willed daughter, Dushala. Maharani Kunti was an affectionate mother, and she loved all children. As soon as the Kaurav and Pandav children were old enough, she gathered them all on the ground in front of her palace and taught them some sports and exercises. The older Kaurav children came on their own, but the younger ones were driven in a coach. One day, Adirath, Bhishma's chariot, allowed his son Karn to accompany him for a joyride. Karn was a self-taught archer, and he made his own bows and arrows, which he carried along all the time. When the Maharani's students saw Karn with his bows and arrows, they were intrigued, and they all told Maharani that they all wanted those bows and arrows. Maharani asked Karn, and he rather proudly told her that he made his own bows and arrows. Maharani asked him if he could make some for his children. Karna told her that it would take some time. Maharani told him to do this and come back when these were ready. Few days later, Karna came back with a few bows and arrows and distributed them to the older children. Dushala came and asked Karna for her bows and arrows. "These are all I had made," is what Karna tells her. Dushala just picks up his bows and arrows and asks Karna to make new for himself. The Maharani thanked Karna and invited him to come and teach archery to the boys. Karna tells her to speak to his father as he has to help him in the stables. The Maharani tells him not to worry and assures him that she will take his dad Adirath's permission. But obvious, Adirath agrees to the wishes of Maharani Kunti and goes to meet Bhishma Pitama.
Come, Adirath. What do you want to talk to me about?
Maharaj, I want to talk to you about Karn.
Karn? Yes? What is it?
Maharaj, when Maharani Kunti's Sarthi is not available, I serve her. On one such occasion, I had to take Karn with me because Radha was not at home. It was cold and windy, and the Maharani got worried that Karn might catch cold. She asked me to send him inside the chariot. Somehow, she took a liking to him. Since then, she always asked me to bring him along. Yesterday, she told me that she would speak to Dronacharya to take him as a pupil in his school. I told her it would be better if Pitama speaks. Can you speak to him?
You have not told Kunti that I have given this boy to you, have you?
Of course not, Maharaj.
What has he learned so far?
Maharaj, he loves only 2 things, horses and archery. He is either practicing archery or riding and tending horses.
How good is he?
Maharaj, he is very good, better than anyone I know. But he needs a teacher. He went to Dronacharya, but he refused to accept him. In fact, he asked him why a Sudputra wanted to learn archery. Perhaps if you spoke to him, he may agree.
How like Drona. His pride will not allow him to teach anyone not of royal descent. But don't worry. we will try and find a better teacher for Karn. Yes, I think he must go to my guru, Parshuram. He will teach him. There is no better teacher than Parshuram, not even Dronacharya. But Parshuram is a hard taskmaster. Karn will have to work very, very hard. Parshuram is hard to please, but when pleased, there is no teacher like him. I will personally introduce and recommend him to Parshuram. And let's do it tomorrow itself. So be ready to leave tomorrow.
Of course, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Adirath, Karan is not an orphan. I am his guardian.
Time passes and Karan completes his education from Guru Parshuram. He returns to Hastinapur and continues his passion for horses and archery, slightly unaware of the fact that he has a vociferous admirer in Dushala, the daughter of Dhritarashtra and Gandhari.
Oh, hello, Dushala. You have come early. Nice to see you.
Really? I thought you changed your time to avoid me.
Don't talk like that, Dushala. Why should I want to avoid you?
You know it very well, Karn.
Yes, Dushala, I do. You must live in the real world, not chase mirages.
Mirages? Or dreams?
Dushala, they will never accept a Sud Putra.
Who are they to accept or reject? I am accepting you. Isn't that enough? If they do not accept us here, we will go away and find another place to live.
It is not that simple, Dushala. I have to look after my parents. I am also indebted to Maharaj Deshmant, your brother. I owe so much to so many here. I cannot run away.
Can we not go to Angraj? We can create a new world where all are equal. Men and women, Aryans and Dasas, rich and poor.
Ang is a gift of Duryodhana. How can we go there?
Do you know, your friend is arranging my marriage with Jaidrath?
My friend
Duryodhan.
is your brother too.
Yes, he is. But he is only interested in the throne of Hastinapur.
Dushala, if I was not what I am, if I was a Kshatriya prince worthy of your hand, I would fall on my knees and beg you to marry me. But alas, I am what I am, a Sud Putra and a Sarthi Putra.
Karn, I feel lost, helpless. But I will not lose hope. I will go to my father to profess my love for you. I am the apple of his eye. I'm sure that his love for me will prevail over his prejudices.
No, Dushala, please don't do that. He will never agree.
Please, Karn, don't stop me. Either it is now or never. If I am unable to convince my father, I will end my life.
No, Dushala, no! How can you even think about this?
Well, destiny has not left much choice for me, has it? Tell me, Karn, what option do I have? Will you be there for me if everything fails? Tell me, will you be there?
Yes, I will be there. Come, Dushala. What do you want to tell me?
Father, I have chosen the man I want to marry.
Good. Who is he?
He is Karn.
What? Karn? That Sudput? Son of a charioteer? Are you out of your mind?
No, Father. I know that you're looking for some great prince for me. But, Father, I can be happy only with him. Brother Duryodhan has made him Angraj. And mother also likes him.
Gandhari, is that right?
Yes, You will never find a better husband for my daughter than Karn. In my country, we don't have all this Sudputra and Dasiputra. But it is different here in Hastinapur.
Dushala, do you really know Karn?
A little, but enough to trust him.
How do you know him?
One morning when I was riding on the parade ground, my horse bolted. He chased and caught up with us. He took charge of my horse, patted him, and cooled him down as only he can. I wanted to dismount, but he told me, Dushala, if you dismount now, you will never learn to ride. Thereafter, he rarely talked to me, but I knew he was watching me with interest. Once he told me, Dushala, horsemanship is a game of partnership. You must saddle your own horse and rein him yourself. Then the horse will know that you're a partner and not a master. Another time, he took my horse for a ride. He came back after jumping few fences and told me, Dushala, your horse was going too close to the fence for the jump. Now he knows the right spot, and he will jump a lot better. Would he do all this if he did not care for me?
So he knows all about horses. Why not? He was born in a stable and brought up by a charioteer.
Father!
Does he know anything about women?
Father, can you leave that to me?
Has he proposed to you?
No, but I know he loves me too. In this matter, we princesses are at a disadvantage. The men are too afraid to make the first move, so we women have to do it.
Did you?
Yes, I did.
What did he say?
He cannot forget that he is a Sudputra. But I know he loves me. Father, if you say yes, we will be very happy.
Come, Duryodhan. Your sister has come to me. She wants to marry Karn. She says that she has already spoken to you and you have categorically forbidden the match.
Of course, I have. Duryodhan's sister cannot marry a Sudputra and a Sarthiputra. How did she even think of this? I have far better proposals for her from powerful rulers.
But she says that you have made Karn Angaraj.
Yes, I have. But that is to keep him on our side just in case there is any conflict with the Pandavas. The Pandavas have Arjun and only Karn can match him.
So you do think that Karn is a match for Arjun?
More than a match.
Duryodhan, I fail to understand your logic. You have made him Angaraj. You think he is better than Arjun. Yet you still don't think that he is good enough for our Dushala.
Father, a Sudputra is a Sudputra, even if I make him Angaraj. I received a proposal for Dushala from the king of Sindhu. He is a powerful ruler, ruling entire Sindhu, and will be a valuable ally in case of a conflict with the Pandavas. Dushala must marry him.
But Dushala does not like him. Even Gandhari thinks that we can never find a better husband for Dushala. In fact, your mother feels that in her Gandhar, people will be proud to have someone like Karn as son-in-law.
Father, in Gandhar they can do what they like, but in Hastinapur we will do what we like.
Maharaj, Gandhar or Hastinapur, nobody will force my daughter to marry against her wish.
Father, please don't make me a pawn in a game of chess. Jayadratha is not a good man. He is cruel and a notorious womanizer. I would rather die than marry him. Just allow me to live with you all in Hastinapur. I will forget Karn, and I will not be a burden on you.
Dushala, don't talk like that. How can you be a burden on us? Nobody will force you to marry Jayadratha or anyone else without your consent. That is my promise. You are one sister among 100 brothers, and you are precious to us all. I hope that soon we will find someone worthy of the hand of my daughter.
Father, I will marry Karn or no one else. If you will not let me marry him, So be it. Just let me live with you. And don't force me to marry anyone else. Please, Father.
Maharaj, when I was brought to Hastinapur as a bride, and I found out that you were blind, I wore blindfolds. You all pretended that it was my consent and called me a sati. It was not a consent. It was a silent protest of a helpless, lonely girl in a foreign land in the hope that someday it may open your eyes.
Gandhari, I think the time for that has come now. Listen, Duryodhan, Dushala will marry anyone that she chooses. If that is correct, so be it. Thank you, Gandhari, for making me see the reality.
Maharaj, I am so delighted that my perseverance has finally paid off. Now, may I seek your permission to take off my blindfolds?
Sure, by all means.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Sorry, Gandhari. Sorry for all the trouble you went through.
Maharaj, as they say, better late than never. We have been so lucky and blessed that we've been able to save our daughter from the same fate as her mother Gandhari suffered.
Listen, Vidur, Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, Kunti, Yudhishthir, I have called you all here for a very important discussion. There has been a lot of destructive activity taking place in Hastinapur. Sri Krishna has come from Dwarka. On the way he met several princes and persuaded them to stand with Pandavas in a war with the Kauravas. If that was not all, Shakuni has also arrived with similar promises from some other princes to stand up with Duryodhana. Are you all aware that many neighboring states are looking at this as their opportunity to settle their private grudges? If there is a war, which is looking inevitable, it will mean the end of Hastinapur. Gandhari, Kunti, you must stop your relatives from meddling in the affairs of Hastinapur. They are welcome here as long as they do not meddle in our affairs. But if they do, I will have to stop them from entering Hastinapur. Perhaps we should have done this long time back. Nevertheless, both of you will see that they are out of Hastinapur as fast as possible. If possible, politely, and if necessary, rudely. Things have gone too far. All I want is to keep Hastinapur out of any war. Yudhishthir, there is a possibility that Krishna will try to meet Arjun tonight. So I urge and caution you all not to fall prey to these divisionary tactics and get enticed by anyone or anything. Please, please, for the sake of Hastinapur, give peace a chance.
Hello, Arjun. We are meeting after a very long time. I can't even remember when we met last.
I can. I remember that day very well. You tried to explain to me about dharma and karma. Now we can try again.
Of course. That is why I am here. I heard in Dwarka that Pitama might decide soon who will be the next king of Hastinapur after Dhritarashtra.
It is about time that this is decided. We must all accept his decision.
You are naive, Arjun. Pitama is beholden to Dhritarashtra. Do you think he will choose anyone other than his son Duryodhan?
Please, Prabhu, let's not talk like that about our Pitama. We all know that the kingdom of Hastinapur was his. He gave it up for the sake of happiness of the family and never married, just to make sure that no disputes would arise over succession in the future.
On the way to Hastinapur, I met several rulers, and they all are ready, eager to support us if there is a war. It will also be good if you and Bhim meet Hidimba and Ghatotkacha and make sure that in any such conflict, the Asurs will stand with us.
With what face can we go to them now? We treated them like pariahs and did not allow them to live with us in Hastinapur.
Arjun, these are critical times. We must stoop if necessary. And if you don't stand up now, Pandavas will have nothing. You will have to serve under Duryodhan.
They gave us half the kingdom, but Brother Yudhishthir gambled it away.
But Duryodhan was cheating. The dice were loaded. You know, Arjun.
Even a novice gambler asks for new dice after he loses a few rounds. Why did he not do that? Why did he not stop? He gambled away everything like a compulsive gambler.
Come on, Arjun. This is no way to talk about your elder brother. Of late, there has been no rule of dharma in Hastinapur. I have come to earth to establish the rule of dharma, and I have chosen you as my instrument.
I'm honored, Prabhu. But you will have to find someone else for this noble mission. You can't fight the enemy unless you hate them. I'm afraid that when I come face to face against Pitama, Dronacharya, and our cousins Kauravas, my knees will give way, my hands will shake, and I will not be able to raise my bow Gandiv.
Arjun, don't you realize that your brother will be the king of Hastinapur, and he will establish the rule of dharma in Hastinapur?
Or perhaps gamble it away.
Arjun, this is no time to be flippant. Destiny is beckoning you to be a hero. But you are doubting yourself and your abilities? It seems you are afraid of Karna. Do you want to be called a coward in Hastinapur?
Prabhu, this time just give me the courage to be a coward. We must come up with some other way than war to resolve this.
Arjun, some wars are just and necessary.
Prabhu, let's try to give peace one chance.
It will take a lot of doing to convince you. Well, so let's talk tomorrow. When we are leading the Pandav forces, which you should, I will be your Sarathi. So no worries at all. I will always be there to guide you. I will take your leave now.
Thank you, Prabhu. But I really hope and pray that these dark clouds of war on Hastinapur may give way to the sunshine of brotherhood and family ties. Goodbye, Prabhu.
Hello, Karn. You have not eaten yet. You did not have to wait for me.
It's all right, Father. I wanted to talk to you.
So, what is it?
Father, do you remember when I was a child, I used to go and play with Pandavas and Kauravas. Maharani Kunti always treated me like her fourth son. How can I fight against them?
Well, so you can refuse to fight.
How can I refuse? How can I refuse Duryodhan? He has always treated me with affection and respect, made me Angaraj. Today when he needs me, I cannot abandon him. Father, this war is not going to be like any we have seen or heard of. Nobody knows who will be alive at the end. if I do not return, you all must stick together. Kushala is much loved and respected in Ang and will take you all there for safety. This may be our last meeting, Father. So please take care of yourself and Ma. Goodbye, Father.
Prabhu, I will not be able to do this. I cannot fight or kill Pitama, Dronacharya or these cousins. No, I cannot. Please forgive me.
What are you talking, Arjun? We discussed all this last night. This is not a war between Pandavas and Kauravas. This is a war between good and evil, between God and devil, between right and wrong, between truth and lies. You are not fighting for Pandavas or Hastinapur. You are fighting for God and humanity against inequality, injustice, immorality.
Prabhu, I've heard a lot about inequality, injustice and immorality in my life. When I heard of how Pitama kidnapped Ambika and Amalika, forced them to marry his half-brothers, or how he kidnapped Auntie Gandhari and forced her to marry a blind uncle. I was ashamed of the way we have taken away the land of the Nishads and driven them into forests. But all that was before I was born, and I've only heard all this. But during my own lifetime too, I've seen the way we treat Shudras. What happened to Eklavya, Karn? Forget the others. What did we do to Draupadi? We have not allowed our own sister-in-law Hidimba and our nephew Ghatotkacha to come and live with us in Hastinapur. We only remember them when we needed them in war. That is why I did not go to them with Bhim to seek help.
That is exactly why I am here. To stop evil forces spread their tentacles. To save and establish the rule of Dharma. They need me to save mankind. And I need you to help me. Don't you see the point, Arjun?
No, I do not. I see all these innocent young men on the field. Tonight, a few of them will not return. Their wives and children will come looking for their bodies on the field, and that is what will happen day after day after day. For what? What is their sin? Why should they pay with their blood for the sins and greediness of others? Don't tell me it is their karma. A lot of inequality and injustice is explained away by this karma alibi. The winner of this war may win not because of his karma, but because of his adharma. Prabhu, I am going to Pitama and lay down my arms and retire from the battle. What you all decide for yourselves will be your choice. I will not force my decision on you. Having said that, I agree that I should have spoken about this earlier. I'm sorry for that. But when in the morning I came here and saw all these soldiers on both sides assembled and thought over their fates over the next couple of weeks, my doubts came back with renewed force. Please forgive me, Prabhu. Please forgive me.
Arjun, what can I do for you?
Pitama, I have come to lay down my arms. I'm retiring from this battle, and so also my brothers. We will now return and ask our armies to lay down the arms and lower the flags.
What are your terms?
Duryodhan, please. I will do the talking. Yes, Arjun. What are your terms?
There are no terms and no conditions.
In that case, may I ask my people to lay down their arms and lower the flags?
Yes, I will be obliged.
Duryodhan, please do the needful. And Yudhishthir, you must go and tell your supporters our final decision. Ask our people to lay down today's lunch in the middle of the battlefield. All of us will eat together and celebrate peace. Thereafter, we will all go home. Tomorrow morning, we will meet in the coronation hall to determine the future of Hastinapur. Go, ring the bell and tell the people that there will be no war. Never delay the good news. Arjun, what you have done today is far better than anything you have done before or anything you will ever do hereafter. I am the one who should have done it. But perhaps it was written in your destiny. How did you manage to do this? It does not come easily. History may label you as a coward.
So be it. I strongly felt to do it, and I did it. This morning, there I was, standing in front of our two armies, asking myself why these innocents should die for us. I had no answer. My knees were weak, my vision blurred, my hands too weak to lift my gun in. There was no way I could fight. That gave me the courage to be a coward. Prabhu Shri Krishna was naturally shocked, and so were my brothers. But they realized that my mind was made up and nothing will change it.
Wonderful. It is now my responsibility to see that your sacrifice is not in vain. In return of this grand favor from you, Arjun, what can your Pitama do for you?
Pitama, that there will be no war, no bloodshed, no Holocaust, and all of us will go home alive is enough reward for me. I do not seek anything else.
Yes, Arjun. We were on the brink of a Holocaust, but have managed to avoid it. And this should never happen again.
Yes. Also, Pitama, there are a lot of other things that need our attention. The injustice to Asurs and Nishads. Even the citizens of Hastinapur have many complaints. Taxes, condition of roads, schools, and even atrocities against women. Avoiding the Holocaust is one small step. But overall, we have been living in an unjust, decadent society.
And do you know who is responsible for all this? I, Bhishma Pitama. Somewhere along the road, I lost the track. I only thought of the Kuru dynasty and forgot Hastinapur and its people. But today, you have shown me my true path. Kind of late, but better late than never. We can still create a new world with you as the king.
I cannot, Pitama. I too am guilty of silence and a beneficiary of so many of these unjust acts. I was silent when I came to know of how Gurudev Dronacharya had demanded Eklavya's thumb just to remove an obstacle in my path of becoming the best archer in the world. I was silent when Karna was not allowed to participate in the annual sports of our school because Gurudev was afraid that he could outshine any of his students. I was silent when Karn was not allowed to participate in Draupadi's Swayamvar and humiliated as a Sutputra. What we need is a revolution. And you and I cannot do that.
So, what is your suggestion?
Pitama, I think that we should hand over Hastinapur to Angraj Karn.
What?
The world has been very unkind to him. But still he and Dushala are doing some great work in Angladesh. Schools, hospitals, housing, roads. I think that he is the right man for this job.
But will Yudhishthir and Duryodhan accept this?
I have been authorized to speak for the Pandavas. Both of us will try to convince Duryodhan, and it's unlikely that he should disagree. After all, Karn is his best friend, and Dushala is his sister. If Pandavas accept him, Duryodhan should have no problem.
Agreed. Come. Right now, let us go and meet the commanders of the armies, have lunch with them, and bid them farewell. Dhritarashtra, Vidur, Kunti, Gandhari, Duryodhan, Yudhishthir, Karn, along with all esteemed members of our family and respected courtiers. I'm sure that you all know what transpired at Kurukshetra yesterday, and I'm sure that you are relieved and happy. At least for me, this is the happiest day of my life. I have to profusely thank Arjun for it, and also on his suggestions to shape the future of Hastinapur. Both of us agreed that in the past we have been unjust and unfair. This must come to an end. We must break the past and make a new beginning. I suggested to Arjun that he should take that responsibility, but he declined and suggested that this responsibility should be given to Angraj Karn. Angraj Karn has been continuously a victim of our unjust ways. Another good reason being that as Angraj, he and Dushala are bringing great changes in Anga to benefit the citizens. So I would suggest that you must all endorse this decision immediately and unanimously. Angraj Karn, I now invite you to accept our proposal and agree to be the next Maharaj of Hastinapur.
Pitama, it's too big an honor for me. I am way too small for this crown and responsibility.
We all know you're more than capable. And you taking over this responsibility will be in the best interest of our families as well as the citizens of Hastinapur.
But Pitama, I have a revolutionary thinking. My way of working, my ideas of reforms might not be accepted by all.
I knew what you will do, and that is exactly why we have chosen you. I'm sure you can be assured of the cooperation of all. Karn, your acceptance will please me immensely. And I will see to it that all of us go along with you.
Then your word is my command, Pitama.
Good. I'm much relieved. So let's announce this decision to the citizens of Hastinapur. Tell them that Karn will be crowned and made the next Maharaj of Hastinapur. Tell them that from now on, Hastinapur and its policies will be identical for Asurs and Nishads, Rajputra or Sarthiputra, rich or poor. Assure them that there will be no injustice happening in Hastinapur, and all citizens will be treated equally under the rule of Maharaj Karn. Thank you all who are present here and have endorsed this landmark decision. Your future generations and history will be ever obliged to all of you. Jai Hastinapur!
Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee into ever-widening thought and action, into that heaven of freedom, my Father, let my country awake.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being a wonderful audience. I'd like to introduce you to the cast and team that made a Mahabharat without Kurukshetra possible. Vani Kumar as Sarthi and Gandhari. Santosh Kumar Jha as Shri Krishna. Jai Singh as Duryodhan, Salim Shah as Bhishma Pitama, and Afreen as Dushala, Rishabh Verma as Arjun, Gaurav Sharma as Angraj Karn, R. Nandakumaran as Jitraj, and Hirok Paul as Adhira. And now may I call on stage the person who has been instrumental in germinating the idea of this dramatic reading of a Mahabharat without Kurukshetra, which has now become a reality. He is a playwright himself, having written a lot of offbeat as well as popular plays, won many awards as well as audiences' appreciation for his work. Mr. Mrunal Mathur.
Thank you. Actually, the way Alina introduced me, I look out character from the Mahabharata. Those of you who know me from this introduction, it seems I'm Balram, who was there at the beginning and has now come in at the end to say a few words. There may be a Mahabharata without or with Kurukshetra, but as theatre people, the last 18 months of the pandemic have been no less. So, a big word of thanks, gratitude to this team, led by Mr. Salim Shah, for fighting that battle and making this a reality. Meenakshi and Supriya for helping us with the venue. And, to all of you to have come to watch a live show, you have no idea, and probably you do, how much this means and how important it is for all of us as performers. So thank you so much. And the last bit of gratitude is something to the playwright, and as a playwright myself, I would reserve that to the end. And that is the playwright of this play, Mr. Sharad Shah. We are very fortunate and blessed that his son Kunal is here with us. So Kunal, if you could come and say a few words. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. At the onset, I must have a word of thanks to each and every one of you for being here. I don't think there's much to add to what Mrinal had to say, but on behalf of my father, age doesn't permit him to be here with us today. My mother, who's 86, is here. He would have been mighty pleased, and it's like a tick of his bucket list of having written this, and all of you, Salim Bhai and Mrinal, to make it possible today to have it staged in front of an audience. Thank you, everybody. And if anybody has any kind of feedback or any thoughts or any counter ideas or otherwise, he would love to hear from you. I can assure you of that. So please feel free, and thank you once again.
And to have this exchange of ideas, we can do it right now. We're having tea. There's tea in the veranda outside. So we'll be happy for all of you to join us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much again.
आपने देखा जो प्ले, उसके जो राइटर हैं मिस्टर शरद शाह, वो 92 इयर्स ओल्ड हैं और यहाँ इस वक्त मौजूद नहीं है, तो उनके ब्याह पर उनकी जो मिसेज है यानी मिसेज शरद शाह, वो हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं। तो आइए उनसे बात करते हैं।
प्ले तो इतना अच्छा हुआ कि हम लोग ने सच में पूरी हमारी आंखें भी वहाँ से हटती नहीं थी। ईच एंड एवरी कैरेक्टर इतना अच्छी तरह से ये लोग ने सब लोग ने किया कि जैसे कि हम लोग वैसे रियल देख रहे हैं ऐसे, लेकिन मेरी इच्छा ऐसा है कि ये सब कैरेक्टर्स शुड बी रियली ड्रामेटिकली डन, और जो ड्रामेटिकली ये करेंगे अलग अलग करके, तो इट विल मेक अ वेरी वेरी गुड प्ले, बहुत ही अच्छा होएगा।
थैंक यू मैडम, थैंक यू। तो मैं मिलवाता हूँ आपको प्ले के राइटर मिस्टर शरद शाह के जो बेटे हैं कुणाल शाह जी से। सर नमस्कार, बहुत स्वागत।
नमस्कार सर जी, नमस्कार।
सर शरद शाह जी के बारे में कुछ बताइए और इस प्ले के बारे में।
शरद शाह 92 इयर्स के है और इन्हें ये प्ले करीबन 7 साल पहले लिखा था एट द एज ऑफ 85। बहुत सारी एनर्जी में है उनमें, और उनका मेन आइडिया जो है ये प्ले में और ये पूरा रिडेंशन में ऐसा है कि ऐसा नहीं है कि वॉर ही होनी चाहिए या फिर वॉर और दो जन लड़ के कुछ रिज़ल्ट आ सकता है, पीस में भी रिज़ल्ट आ सकता है। समझदारी और समझने में बीच में एक दूसरे की बात समझ कर भी पीस आ सकता है और सॉल्यूशन निकल सकता है। तो उनका ये जो ड्रामेटाइज रीडिंग और जो प्ले था, उसका मेन एम यही है कि लाइफ में ऑल्टरनेटिव्स है और ऑल्टरनेटिव्स सिंपल भी हो सकते हैं। अच्छा,
ठीक है सर, थैंक यू सो मच।
थैंक यू सो मच।
हमारे साथ जुड़ चुके हैं जो गांधारी और सारथी के रूप में प्ले में हमारे साथ मौजूद थे। मैडम नमस्कार, बहुत स्वागत है आपका साचीवाद के लिए।
जी नमस्कार।
मैडम अपने कैरेक्टर को लेकर और इस प्ले को लेकर जो कुछ खास बताएं हमारे दर्शकों को।
देखिए, ये हमारे लिए भी एक नया ही एक्सपीरियंस था कि इस तरह से हमें एक नाटक को पढ़ के दिखाना है और ड्रामेटाइज़ करना है, तो अच्छा रहा। 2 कैरेक्टर्स, जैसे आप जानते हैं, मैंने सारथी और गांधारी के कैरेक्टर्स प्ले किए हैं, तो काफ़ी अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस था। आशा करते हैं लोगों को पसंद आया है और आगे भी करना चाहेंगे, हम और भी शोज़ करना चाहेंगे इसके। जी
थैंक यू मैडम, थैंक यू सो मच। आइए मैं मिलवाता हूँ आपको प्ले के मुख्य किरदार और जो महाभारत के जो मुख्य किरदार है जिन पर ये महाभारत टिकी हुई है, भगवान श्री कृष्ण। जी हाँ, भगवान श्री कृष्ण जी के किरदार में जो थे, मैं आपसे मिलवाता हूँ। नमस्कार सर।
नमस्कार।
जय श्री कृष्ण।
जय श्री कृष्ण।
बहुत स्वागत है सर सांची बात के लिए।
बहुत धन्यवाद
सर, इतना अच्छा किरदार आपने निभाया उसके लिए बहुत बधाई।
बहुत धन्यवाद
सर। हमारे दर्शकों को बताएं अपने प्ले के बारे में, अपने कैरेक्टर के बारे में।
ये जो डिपिक्शन है आदरणीय शरद साहब का, उसमें उन्होंने निश्चय ही एक नया मोड़ दिया है महाभारत को, जिसमें कि कुरुक्षेत्र की कल्पना भी नहीं है। कल्पना ये है कि सौहार्दपूर्ण वातावरण में हस्तिनापुर राज्य विकसित हो। अब इसमें जो भगवान कृष्ण का जो रोल है, अगर आपने नाटक पूरा देखा होगा तो उसमें देखा कि कृष्ण को बहुत ही सटल तरीके से अपनी बात धर्म राज्य की स्थापना करने की कही है, लेकिन अर्जुन ने कहीं भी उनकी बात को नहीं माना है और युद्ध को निरस्त कर दिया अर्जुन ने। ये एक नया मोड़ है। इस पे ये भी प्रश्न उठता है कि क्या कृष्ण कितने रेलेवेंट हैं आज के परिप्रेक्ष्य में। इसलिए मैं समझता हूँ कि मेरे लिए ये इस किरदार को बहुत सटल तरीके से निभाने में थोड़ी मुश्किल आई कि आखिर हम क्या टोन लें, क्या ओवरचेयर लें, हम कितने लाउड हों, कितने अच्छे तरीके से अर्जुन को समझाएं। और मैं समझता हूँ कि जो प्ले राइट हैं जिन्होंने कृष्ण के डायलॉग लिखे, वो इतने अप्रोप्रिएट थे कि मुझे बहुत ख़ास दिक्कत नहीं आई। हाँ, मुझे किस टोन में बात करनी है, अर्जुन को कितना कन्विंसिंगली समझाना है, मैं समझता हूँ कि मैंने प्रयास किया। बाकी मैं ऑडियंस पे छोड़ता हूँ, लेकिन निश्चय ही मेरे लिए एक नया तजुर्बा था, क्योंकि कृष्ण को हम लोगों ने बचपन से ही देखा है एक राजनीतिज्ञ, एक कूटनीतिज्ञ की तरह, और यहाँ पर उनकी बात नहीं मानी गई है। तो एक अच्छी बात यह है कि ऑडियंस ने इस बदलाव को अप्रिशिएट किया, इस नई कहानी के नए मोड़ को अप्रिशिएट किया, जो किसी भी नाटक में कार्य करने वाले किरदार के लिए एक नई सोच है। तो इस सोच पर आगे बढ़ेंगे और काम करेंगे। अच्छा तजुर्बा रहा। धन्यवाद।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सो मच। तो आइए मैं आपको मिलवाता हूं जो प्ले में अर्जुन की भूमिका निभा रहे थे। सर नमस्कार, बहुत स्वागत है।
नमस्कार, थैंक यू सो मच।
वेलकम सर। सर, अपनी भूमिका को लेकर के इस प्ले में जो आपके जो है अनुभव उसको बताएं।
जी, अनुभव तो ये है कि महाभारत हम सब ने पढ़ी है, हम सब ने देखी है। तो जो मेरा किरदार है अर्जुन का, वो हम सब जानते ही हैं कि अर्जुन का किरदार कितना महत्वपूर्ण है पूरी महाभारत में। बट कहीं ना कहीं इस महाभारत में, जैसे आपने भी प्ले देखा होगा, हमने थोड़ा सा चेंज किया है उसमें कि अगर काश ऐसा होता, अगर महाभारत के युद्ध को रोका जा सकता तो बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल। तो उन्हीं चीज़ों को मद्देनज़र रख के हमने ये प्ले बनाया। और जो मेरा किरदार है, मुझे काफ़ी खुशी हुई इस किरदार को निभाने में, क्योंकि अर्जुन ही पहल करता है। उसी का ये सुझाव होता है कि युद्ध नहीं होना चाहिए, एंड चाहे उसके लिए भगवान के ख़िलाफ़ भी जाना पड़े, तो श्री कृष्ण उसको बोलते हैं, उसके ख़िलाफ़ भी जाना पड़े तो मैं जाऊंगा। एंड बस यही अनुभव रहा, और बहुत ही अच्छा अनुभव रहा, और सलीम सर के डायरेक्शन में तो बहुत ही मज़ा आया। और एक नया, हम उम्मीद करते हैं कि लोगों को एक नया नज़रिया मिलेगा महाभारत को देखने का। बाकी अब आपको हमारे कोलीग भी बताएंगे। दुर्योधन
जी, दुर्योधन की भूमिका में जिन्हें आप देख रहे थे वो हमारे साथ हैं। सर नमस्कार।
नमस्कार
सर, बताइए कुछ अपनी भूमिका के बारे में, प्ले के बारे में।
दुर्योधन के कैरेक्टर को लेके अगर बात करें तो अभी तक किसी भी सीरियल में या किसी भी चीज़ में ये नहीं बताया गया कि दुर्योधन ने कर्ण को अपने साथ क्यों रखा था। ठीक है। और दूसरी चीज़, उसके सीधे सीधे पॉइंट्स थे कि अगर ये शूद्र है तो शूद्र है, ये सारथी पुत्र है तो सारथी पुत्र है, इवन वो उसका फ्रेंड है, अर्जुन से श्रेष्ठ था, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, लेकिन सूत पुत्र है वो, तो उसके माइंड में, हाँ वो माइंड में था। तो ये छोटी छोटी चीज़ों को लेकर जो उसे बचपन से सिखाया गया, पढ़ाया गया, और उस चीज़ को लेकर मतलब ऑडियंस को ये दिखाया गया कि भाई तुम अकेले किसी भी चीज़ को नहीं मान सकते, सारी चीज़ों को मिला जुला कर महाभारत हुआ था। कि अगर भीष्म उस वक्त स्टैंड ले लेते, अगर अर्जुन मना कर देते, अगर कृष्ण अर्जुन की बात मान जाते, गीता का उपदेश ना देते, तो शायद कुरुक्षेत्र में महाभारत होता ही नहीं। ठीक है। और अर्जुन ने, वो दुर्योधन ने लास्ट में जो कर्ण को एक्सेप्ट किया, सबसे बड़ी बात, जब धृतराष्ट्र ने अपनी बेटी के लिए स्टैंड लिया, गांधारी ने अपने जो भी उसने त्याग किया उसको बताया कि भाई मैं ऐसे ही नहीं आंखों में पट्टी बांधी थी, ये एक साइलेंटली अपना एक प्रोटेस्ट कर रही थी मैं, जिसको आज भी अगर मैं अपनी बेटी की जान नहीं बचा पाई या बेटी की ज़िंदगी नहीं बना पाई तो वो बेकार है। तो ये छोटी छोटी चीज़ों को लेकर और दुर्योधन को लेकर बहुत सारी चीज़ें क्लियर हुई हैं। और बाकी चीज़ जिस तरीके से लिखा गया है प्ले, वो बहुत एक शानदार है। दूसरा फिर सलीम सर ने जिसका डायरेक्शन किया है वो तो फिर शानदार होने ही है। तो बस यही।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सो मच। प्ले के डायरेक्टर सलीम शाह साहब हमारे साथ जुड़ चुके हैं। सर नमस्कार, बहुत स्वागत है सर साची बात के लिए।
थैंक यू
सर, इतना ज़बरदस्त प्ले रहा उसके लिए पहले तो बहुत बधाई।
धन्यवाद धन्यवाद, मुझे बहुत खुशी है आपको पसंद आया।
जी जी सर। सर बताइए प्ले के बारे में कुछ, जो अलग तरह का ही ये प्ले था
जी,
तो उसके बारे में बताएं।
ये महाभारत विदाउट कुरुक्षेत्र, यानी अगर युद्ध ना हुआ होता और पीस यानी शांति से सब कुछ बैठ के बात हो जाती, ये वो विकल्प पेश करता है। और एक ऐसे युग की कामना करता है कि जिसमें सब लोग सुखी हों, समृद्ध हों, भाईचारा हो, क्योंकि महाभारत की जो फैमिली थी वो एक हिंदुस्तान की जॉइंट फैमिली ओरिजिनली आप कह लीजिए, जैसे हम लोगों के यहाँ जॉइंट फैमिली होती हैं कि दादा हैं फिर सब पूरी फैमिली रह रही है, तो उस तरह की ये फर्स्ट फैमिली मैं इसे कहूँगा। और युद्ध की वजह से तबाह हो गए, किसी की ईगो थी, किसी का पर्सनल एक गेन था, किसी का कुछ था। तो ये दर्शाया गया है कि काश जो शांति से अगर चीज़ें की जाती तो वो बहुत बेहतर रहता। एक थॉट है, शरद शाह जी जो हैं जिन्होंने ये प्ले लिखा है, हाँ वो इसी थॉट के साथ, और वो अंग्रेज़ी का एक जुमला है कि पीस के साथ भी बहुत जीतें हो सकती हैं, सिर्फ लड़ाई ही करने से जीत नहीं होती है, विकल्प नहीं है। बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
थैंक यू सर, बहुत खुशी हुई आपसे मिलकर।
बहुत खुशी हुई कि आप आ रहे हैं, आए यहाँ पे, और उम्मीद करता हूँ कि आप को पसंद आया ही है जैसा आपने कहा है। धन्यवाद बहुत बहुत।
थैंक यू सो मच सर।
थैंक यू।
तो आइए मैं आपको मिलवाता हूं जो इस प्ले में करण की भूमिका निभा रहे थे, वो हमारे साथ जुड़ चुके हैं। सर नमस्कार, बहुत स्वागत है।
नमस्कार, थैंक यू जी। नमस्कार।
प्ले में अपनी भूमिका के बारे में कुछ बताइए, कैसा रहा आपका अनुभव?
कर्ण का रोल मैंने प्ले किया। कर्ण का रोल हमेशा से बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग और एक डिफरेंट तरह का रोल है कि कैसे वो 5 पांडवों का भाई था लेकिन फिर भी उनके साथ नहीं रह पाया, और कैसे वो बेस्ट था, वो कंपटीटर था अर्जुन का। और इस शो में वो पता चलता है कि व्हाट वाज द रिलेशन बिटवीन अर्जुन एंड कर्ण, सो हाउ वर द कॉम्पिटिटर एंड हाउ अर्जुन रिकमेंडेड। It is something you will see when you will see the play or the narration. Thank you.
ये महाभारत का जो पार्ट है यहाँ अंग्रेजी में प्रस्तुत किया गया, एक अलग ही तरह का था। सर ये अंग्रेजी में होने की वजह से इसके बारे में कुछ बताएं।
अंग्रेजी, अब दिल्ली में रह रहे हैं तो अंग्रेजी बोलने और समझने वाले बहुत लोग हैं, तो लोगों के नज़रिए से लोगों के लिए बनाया गया एक नरेशन है। लोग समझते हैं, लोग कनेक्ट करते हैं, पर इंग्लिश का कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता, इंग्लिश में हो या हिंदी में हो, लोग इमोशन से कनेक्ट करते हैं।
थैंक यू सर, थैंक यू सो मच। आइए मैं आपको मिलवाता हूँ मृणाल सर से, जो कि इस पूरे प्ले के जो लोगों को एक सूत्र में बांधने वाले हैं। नमस्कार सर, बहुत स्वागत।
नमस्कार नमस्कार।
बहुत बधाई सर, बहुत अच्छा मंचन रहा, बहुत अच्छा प्ले रहा।
नहीं, थैंक यू।
सर बताइए इस पूरी टीम के बारे में, इस प्ले के बारे में।
देखिए हमारी कोशिश तो ये थी, मैं खुद एक लेखक हूँ, सो कोशिश यही रहती है कि नए लेखन को कैसे सुनाया जाए लोगों तक, क्योंकि हम तो सब जानते हैं पिछले 1.5 साल पैंडेमिक में गुजरा है। रंग कर्मियों को शायद मंच नहीं मिला है, मंच, स्टेजेस, ऑडिटोरियम्स बंद हैं, तो जाहिर बात है कि जब वो खुलेंगे तो वंस अगेन नाटक होंगे, लेकिन नाटक होंगे तो सब यही चाहेंगे कि वो नाटक करें जो भाई एक्टिंग का उनको चांस देते हैं कि भाई मैं हैमलेट बनूंगा या जूलियस सीजर बनूंगा, तुगलक करूंगा। तो नए लेखन का क्या होगा? तो नए लेखन का को लोगों तक पहुंचाने की एक छोटी सी कोशिश है। एंड मुझे ये भी लगता है कि क्योंकि रंगकर्मी इतना मिल नहीं पाए हैं आपस में, थोड़े फासले हुए हैं, सो एक रीडिंग करना जिसमें रिटन टेक्स्ट को पढ़ा जाए और फिर सब उसको एनालाइज करें, तो वो एक अच्छी चीज़ है। तो ये दो सोच थी। एंड उसके बाद वही होता है ना कि एक बार आप मन बना लो तो लोग जुड़ते जाते हैं। एंड आई थिंक मेन कंट्रीब्यूशन है सलीम शाह साहब का, एंड जिन्होंने बिल्कुल थिएटर को अपना लिया, और शायद उनसे भी ज़्यादा, एंड मैं बायस्ड हूँ क्योंकि मैं लेखक हूँ, जो शरद शाह साहब है, यू विल नॉट बिलीव कि वो 92 ईयर्स के, एंड जिस तरह से हर रिहर्सल के बाद उनके पॉइंट्स ऑफ व्यू, उनके इनपुट्स, तो बड़ा अच्छा लगा। बहुत एनर्जी थी, और बस आशा है कि ये जारी रहे।
थैंक यू सो मच सर, बहुत शुभकामनाएं, आपकी कोशिश बहुत कामयाब रही है, उसके लिए बहुत बधाई।
थैंक यू, थैंक यू, थैंक यू, धन्यवाद।
It is impossible to pay the debt of gratitude, and therefore a very big thank you from all of us. Shukriya, shukriya, shukriya.
Thank you.
I hope, yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
We hope to meet Sharad ji in person as soon as possible.
Yes.
Thank you, Sharad uncle, so much. The whole team, I think, feels that this should happen again and again and again. So thank you from all of us. We enjoyed every bit that we rehearsed and worked. I think you did?
Yes.
So have a healthy life. Stay safe. Goodbye and thank you once again.
Thank you, sir. Many more to come. Thank you. Wish you a healthy life, happy life. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
तो आपने देखा ये प्ले महाभारत विदाउट कुरुक्षेत्र, जिसे लिखा था शरद शाह साहब ने और जिसे डायरेक्ट किया था सलीम शाह जी ने। इस नाटक के पीछे, इस प्ले के पीछे एक ही उद्देश्य था कि अगर शांति बनाए रखते और जो है बिना युद्ध के भी जो है जिया जा सकता है, युद्ध ही कोई एक विकल्प नहीं है, किसी चीज़ का हल नहीं है। तो इसी के साथ मैं रूप सिंह गुसाई, कैमरामैन व्यास कुशवाहा के साथ।